When I first learned punching in my first style of karate, what they always told me to do was plant my feet, make this rigid, plant, and get ready to take the full pressure. The problem with that is wherever you plant your foot is where your hip stops. If your hip stops, you have very little power on what you're doing. So if you watch like a major league pitcher, they don't go like this, set, load, and then stop their foot and throw. That hip is coming all the way through to generate that hip force for that punch. In martial arts, it's the same idea, you just don't want it as big because it's sloppy and it's hard to recover to go to the next punch. So what you gotta learn is what I like to call quarter step. What I mean by that is there's full step, there are shuffle steps, which I kind of consider a half step or a tween step, and there's like a quarter step. All this step is meant to do is come here to bring this hip forward. You're not really stepping forward as much as you're stepping to bring the hip up, and you're just swinging the hip into it. So if I go like this, I go boom, I twist my hip, that's where my hip stops. If I leave my front foot exactly where it is, and I do this with my back foot, do you see how much further my hip comes past that stick? That's how much more you have on the punch, which is tremendous. A lot of you guys, when you hit, you leave your legs here and your hips there, and you're not getting full rotation. I see this with kids in baseball all the time. What they'll do is they'll swing, and they'll leave that back foot back, and they use all upper body and all chest to hit the ball. Someone who's good who swings a bat knows how to drive it. Take that hip and drive it up forward to get maximum power on your shot. So when I do this, how you learn this is very simple. What you want to do is take a couple, try it. Go like this and just flick your hip and leave your foot there, right? And then what you want to do is as you throw this, now here's the joke, this comes and it almost drags this. It's not that this happens and then this happens because it'll jam you. It's the hand leads and it pulls my hip and my foot forward. So what happens is I now have all that energy. What happens is I have all that energy from my hip transferring into that back. So I'm going to go like this, through. Also, when you do this, it's important that you don't rotate this like this, that way. Because as I swing, I want the energy to go this way. I don't want it to go this way. So if I turn my hip and go this way, my energy is split. What I want to do is I want to take my hip and go right through the direction I'm going. If you make weird turns, it's going to really mess this up. So it's a really simple thing to learn. You just take your time and just step and back, step and back. So, and it'll add so much power to what you're doing. Now the complaint I'm going to hear, I know this is coming, is when you're leaving your heel up, someone's got to step on your heel. Number one, the odds of finding someone who can do that are almost none. But number two, this is like it's not meant to stay there. And rarely, if you do this, you better be off and on to the next motion. You better be hitting, be ready to move and guard. You're not going to sit here and flex and pose and say, hey, look what I did. It's just how you learn it. It's just comfortable. So start out very slow, and what you want to feel is how the whole body lands in alignment properly. If I step ahead, what's going to happen is my arm is going to end up jammed like this. I want it in a good position where I have structure. So when I throw this, just like that, very comfortable. A lot of spring to it, a lot of hip. And just make sure your structure is good first, and your alignment and your distance. Get your distance down. As you get better with it and you think you have it, yeah, start adding pop to it. Now the pop comes at the end, not the beginning. I don't throw my energy from my hip and then throw my hand. I throw my hand, and at the very end of this, I explode with everything at the end of the strike. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave comments. Feel free to share. It helps the channel grow.